Favorite cereal?
Oh.
Tanner, don't get scared. He's looking a little worried.
That's not 135,000.
We are enjoying people in pain. Instead of praying for them, we just laugh at them. We are sinners.
Living Stones, welcome to our first inaugural Hot Ones. Give it up for Pastor Shay. This is the show with hot wings and even hotter questions. So I do gotta ask, Pastor Shay, how are you with spicy food?
I thought I was good until I looked on YouTube and started watching the videos, and I'm like, I don't think I'm good.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, this is gonna be an experience, if nothing else.
Yeah.
All right.
I
So,
do have to question your wing choice. Like, why breaded chicken nuggets as opposed to real chicken wings?
because this is the Lord's chicken. This is
Lord's
Chick-fil-A.
chicken. This is Chick-fil-A
Chick-fil-A. So this is the Lord's chicken. Okay, so the way it's gonna work, just for those who aren't aware, is I'm gonna be interviewing Shay with your questions, the questions that you guys came up with. As we're interviewing, we're gonna go down the line and eat each chicken wing or chicken bite with sauce until we get to the very, very end. We're starting, let's see here. We're starting at 300 Scoville. Scoville is how you measure spice, and we're working our way up to 2,100,000. Just for reference, I know the hottest thing I've eaten was right here. But anyways, let's get it going.
Wait a minute. Okay, this is. I mean, I don't want you to get in the habit of
You need a
dousing it
professional
like that.
pourer. You need somebody to be.
They're drenched.
Fair.
They're getting drenched.
It needs
All right.
to be fair. We need someone that's
Hey, thanks for being here.
Thanks for inviting me, by the way.
Our first question of the night: how long have you been bald?
I didn't even get the.
So, high school, I was really into LL Cool J,
Okay.
and
Yeah. I need love.
that's okay. It was a rapper back in the day, and I was like, man, in every way I want to try to be like this dude, and so I cut my hair for the first time, and I liked it,
Okay.
and it got really expensive to cut my hair all the time, to go to the barbershop all the time. So I was like, man, I'm gonna just keep cutting it, and so I'd say high school.
High school. Okay.
High school.
So LL Cool J though,
Yeah.
really, like how, was that a phase or was that something you grew out of?
No, I can quite honestly say I don't know if I ever grew out of it, man. I idolized that dude as a kid,
Yeah.
and so all the way up until like pulling one pant leg up, that was his thing.
Yeah.
I tried it in
remember
high
that.
school, and that was my thing.
Okay.
So-
So he was like the Bieber of like your generation, essentially.
I wouldn't say that. I know who Bieber is, and I don't know if I would go that far.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, like,
think-
I guess a better question would be like, what are the major differences between like how artists were recognized then as opposed to now? Like,
do you mean?
what do you think of that? As far as like, like today, like all these artists, they have like, their Instagram, their Twitter, all this stuff. But back then, that wasn't really the case. Well, how do you think that's shaped the landscape of like hip hop or just like artistry, I guess?
I think people get a lot more recognition now. So back then you had, man, I'm about to age myself. So when hip hop was first getting started, you had like mixtapes.
Right.
And you just whoever was on the mixtape is whoever you heard of. So if you didn't have a cat that wasn't on the mixtape, you never heard of him. Or you can go to the record store and just dig through a bunch of crates to try to find stuff that you never heard before. So I come from that generation where it was a lot less recognition. So when you heard something, it was usually the radio edit. If it was like straight underground, and that was a different story. How I
Okay.
pulled it off.
Right on. Cool.
So this
Jump
is
in.
1,500. The first one was 300. This is 1,500.
The electric in me.
How do you feel about Princess Leia's death, then resurrection in episode 9?
Yeah, boy.
Almost walked out the movie theater. I hated it. So here's the thing.
My man.
My grandmother got me into Star Wars as a kid. And so I've been watching it pretty much my whole life. And so, what a perfect opportunity, since she died in real life, just to go ahead and kill her off.
Right.
It'd have been awesome. But no, she has to defy logic and space and go and float through the vacuum of space to come alive again. It was stupid.
Would there have been a right way to do that?
Yes.
Say that.
Let her float in space.
No, I'm saying say Carrie Fisher in real life.
Yeah.
Still living,
Okay.
right?
Let her float in space.
Still?
Yep.
You think there's no situation where it would have been okay for her to reveal she had these crazy Jedi powers?
Not after floating in space.
No.
No.
But I mean, there is the argument that she was still in the zone that
No.
was covered by the shield.
No.
You don't.
Because if she's still alive, that
You don't
means
subscribe to
Mace
that.
Windu should still be alive.
Okay.
Because he got sucked out of the thing. He was still in the atmosphere. He should still be alive.
True. Fair enough. What is the most embarrassing date moment you've ever had?
Eyes are about to pop out.
Oh, it's got some kick now.
My wife, my wife told me because I was in the military, so our dates were kind of spread out because I kept deploying. And she told me that over the course of the first few months we were dating, I wore the same shirt every time we met up.
Okay.
So she thought for years that was the only shirt I had in my closet. So she actually started buying me clothes because she felt sorry for me. So that was kind of embarrassing because she could have said something a long time ago. That'd have been nice.
Was it just your nicest shirt at the time, or what was?
I don't know.
You just really enjoyed that shirt.
I enjoyed the shirt, and then between our dates, it was a few months in between, just because I kept deploying.
Right.
So, yeah, that was it.
Okay. Any moments that that maybe she would be willing to share that you wouldn't? That you would
Probably.
want to take back?
Probably. My
a
wife rats me out constantly.
If there was one thing she was going to rat you out for, what would it be?
So the
gonna
first
dig deep here.
the first night we met, I tried to call her, and she didn't pick up the phone.
Okay.
She kind of ignored me. This is 17,000 Scovilles, by the way. So we just did a jump. So yeah, she would probably share that.
Okay. Fair enough. How old were you when you came to Living Stones? And what brought you here?
I don't know. Let's see. I don't know how old I was. Let's see. We moved here. So me and my wife met in Sacramento. We had some friends of ours who lived here. So when we were living in Sac, we would actually come up here to come to church. It was before, I grew up in church, but I wasn't really a Christian. Okay. And when we would come up to visit these friends, we would go to church with them. And so that's when Living Stones was still at Grace Church. They were the college group for Grace Church. And so we got a chance to meet all those guys when they were kind of first getting started. And officially, we didn't start officially coming to Stones until 2011.
Okay, so about 8 years ago?
Yeah.
roughly? Okay. What was your first impression of Stones coming down?
What is wrong with these crazy white people? That was my first impression.
Yeah. What's your impression now?
What is wrong with these? It was when they were super emo when they first started, and
Has that changed?
it's livened up a little bit. It was. I'm sorry. You asked me what?
I said, what brought you here, but also what changed?
What changed?
I guess what kept you here? Let's say that, because you come in, you're
Yeah.
thinking, what's wrong with these crazy people? What,
Yeah.
What kept you?
Quite honestly, man, I had so growing up in the church environment we didn't hear a lot of the Bible just being preached as the Bible. It was, you might take a verse, but you would take it and you take one verse and preach on it, but not really preach about the verse. Like you wouldn't walk through the verse. And that was a church culture thing, because there were some other nights of the week that they would actually dive into the Bible more. But Sunday mornings, when I was there and actually paying attention, I never really got that. And so Stones was like the first church that actually like preached through the Bible in a real systematic way and in a real like tangible way. So.
How you guys feeling up there?
Fine.
Yeah?
Mind your business. This is 30,000.
30,000.
30,000.
I know I can at least survive till here.
Okay.
Because I've done this one.
All right.
After that, this is in the millions.
Maybe not to you, but
Okay, let's see. What's the worst time that you've messed up during a sermon? And how recent?
One of the first sermons I preached, I was at the it's like in a homeless shelter downtown.
Okay.
And actually, my mom came to visit me during that sermon. She got a chance to sit in, and I was talking about Paul, Paul calling our good deeds like rubbish.
Right.
But if you look at that word in its original context, it's a lot stronger than that. It's
Dirty rags.
it's a lot stronger than even dirty rags.
Right.
And so I mean, it was a bunch of homeless guys, so I'm like, I can say what I want to. These guys don't care. But I forgot my mom is sitting right there, and so I just laid into it. She was like, like I could see her face, because I was
Hashtag
like
offended.
just dropping some curse words and stuff, and she was like, "Don't ever curse in front of me again." So that was probably the time I messed up.
Okay. What about moving away from that? What about some highlights? Like what do you feel like have been maybe some defining moments or some moments that you look back and you feel like maybe you didn't even realize the Spirit was moving, but it did move in a big way?
Quite honestly, man, that happens pretty often when people come back and they say, man, like what you said has stuck with me for the last like week or month or so I've had a couple guys come up to me and say it's stuck with me for like a year now. And I'm like, I don't even remember saying that.
Yeah.
So that's, to me, when something sticks and I don't remember what I said, to me that's a evidence that Spirit was moving throughout the sermon. So
Right. That's cool.
Yep.
That's cool. Do you have like a favorite like sermon that you've done? Like and looking back at it? Or like maybe even just like a favorite like topic that you love to preach on? Something that's like near and dear to your heart?
I preached through Ephesians, and so that it was really cool because when we adopted our son, I got a chance to see God in a different way.
Right.
Because the Bible talks about how God has adopted us into His family, and it was really cool because we were sitting in front of the judge, and the judge said, "So here's this boy. All the rights, claims, and background that his former family had on him no longer exists.
Right.
He now belongs to you as if he was a natural-born son with everything that comes along with that, the name, family history, like." And she just laid it out in a way that it just made me realize, oh man, like this is what God means by adoption, that we are saved into the family of God to the extent that it was as if we were always there.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. And I've loved coming to that point in Ephesians
Right.
ever since then. 50,000 Scoville.
What number is this one?
5.
Well,
Five in the
6
lineup?
overall, but 5 in the lineup.
Okay.
So overall, we've got 11. No,
12.
12.
13.
We've got 13 overall. So we're number 5.
I need you to know I didn't write these. Why can Taylor bench press more than you?
He can't. That's the thing. He can't. How much you pressing?
I don't even know. Count that high.
Taylor thinks he's stronger than me, and he hasn't tried it out yet. So hold on, this is Jamaican yellow Scotch bonnet. 250,000. 250,000.
Favorite NFL team? Is it the Niners?
Favorite NFL team?
Yeah.
Probably the Texans.
Texans. Okay.
Texans. Yeah.
I know JJ Watt.
They were before the Oilers with Warren Moon.
Nah, they're
Are y'all hating? Are y'all hating? So yo, here's the thing. My favorite college team is Clemson because that's where I'm from.
Okay.
And so I always kind of liked Houston for some reason. Like I liked when they were the Oilers. I loved Warren Moon. And then when the Texans went back, and Deshaun went out there, I was like, oh yeah, this is my spot now. Plus you got Clowney that's out there. He went to South Carolina. And JJ Watt is out there. You got some pretty good. Foster was out there for a little while. So yeah, I like him.
Okay. Cool. What position did you play when you
I
played college ball?
played slot receiver.
Okay. Did you play in high school as well, or just college?
Yeah, no, I didn't play at college at all. I played.
I thought you were saying you did play college.
No. Yeah, high school. That's the position I played. Yeah. Mad Dog. We're here.
So a little history on this one. This actually comes to us from the refrigerator of our very own Andy J. Yeah. But we put this in mac and cheese, and I don't know where Connor went, but
Connor was the one that did it.
yeah, Connor put it in mac and cheese, and he couldn't handle it. What about this sauce specifically, Mad Dog? This is 700,000.
Dang,
right.
dude, we skipped one.
Well,
All right, well,
the next one's gonna be a break.
that is that's considerably hotter.
Pastor Shay, have you ever tried to steal something?
Yes.
And did you get caught?
Yes.
Yeah, what was it?
Yeah. So the first time I stole something, my mom doesn't know this, by the way. The first time I stole something,
Tune in.
I was probably like 5.
Okay.
No, wait. Yep, I was probably like 5 or 6, and there was some bubble gum at the store. I took a piece of bubble gum. And then, so the summer before I went into the military, I shoplifted some CDs and got caught.
Okay.
This is where the magic starts happening right here.
Go to your local,
There's no winners here.
go to your local witchcraft store and,
What?
Yeah, it's here. It's here. Here, this is a good one. Here's a really good one. It's like when I open my mouth, it gets worse. Okay. All right. Did God give you a symbol or movement to become a pastor and share His word? And what was it?
Holy moly. God actually, so there was one day,
Hey, you guys have listened.
I was on the Air Force Base, and God friended me. I was walking across the parking lot, and out of nowhere, I swear, hold on. I felt God smack me across the face. Like it was, and if anybody was watching, they saw my head go like this. Oh, thank you. Smacked me across the face, and what he smacked my face toward was it was the base chapel at the time. I had no inclinations of being a pastor at all,
Okay.
and something just urged me to go inside and talk to the people in there. And I go in, and I meet the chaplain and everything. He actually, it's the one job in the Air Force you got to interview for, being the chaplain assistant.
Okay.
And he interviewed me on the spot. And so by the next time I went into the base for my guard drill duty, I was as a chaplain assistant, which is kind of like a high-level deacon for outside the church. And from there, he just kept encouraging me along the way. So I got a chance to finish my bachelor's and my master's, both at Liberty University. I was in the middle of deploying, so I got a chance to do them both online.
Yeah.
And around that same time, my daughter was being born, and we came to Living Stones. And as soon as I walked in the door, after seeing those guys for a long time, they just kind of welcomed us in and kind of brought us behind the scenes. And Pastor Harvey invited me into pastor school, and so I think I really confirmed my call for preaching during pastor school. I wrote a sermon, I practiced it all out, and when I went to go deliver it, I left all my notes at home. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I left all my notes at home, and I preached it just off the top of my head. I preached a sermon, and he was like, and it was my first sermon. He was like, for your first sermon, and you just preaching it just off the top of your head, he's like, I give you a B, like just right off the bat. And so that kind of confirmed my calling. Like, I have like a natural affinity to preach, and so, and I enjoy it. So
Do you remember what that first sermon was?
it was 2 Timothy 2, I think. My hook was making my business and giving the gospel.
Okay.
So
Right on. All right. We think this is lower than what we just did.
oh, it's lower.
We think.
I don't know if you guys if your babies need some baby wipes. Is that a good thing? Like refreshing? Hot towel? Actually, a cool,
How's your arm?
cool moist towel.
How's your arm doing?
Bruising.
Is it bruising right now?
Put ice on it.
So why don't you go take care of that, baby?
My baby wipes?
What's your baby wipes? What's the baby wipes
Why do you think I got these, bro? I'll leave these up with you, alright?
I appreciate you.
I can tell you without a doubt, I am going to hallucinate tonight.
Are you going to?
Favorite cereal?
Tanner, don't get scared. He's looking a little worried.
Frosted Flakes with bacon.
Yeah, in the frosted flakes. On the side. Oh, yes, he wants to be eating frosted flakes and
Have you ever tried it?
man, you can't even talk.
All right, Pastor Shay. Through thick and thin, you and I feel like we're a lot closer after this experience, but we can't be too close because we got to leave some room for Taylor. We're going to invite Taylor up now. As we eat these wings, I'm going to just try and rapid fire through these questions. We're going to try and answer as many of them as we can.
Fast.
Fast.
Okay.
So as
Just for me or for everybody?
just for you.
Okay.
So as this final wing is coursing through you, I want you to try and answer these questions as best you can. You can stand. It's okay. But in the true tradition of Hot Ones, they have this thing called the last dab. And since we're already soaking them, we're gonna add a little extra for this last one on all our wings.
Oh no, dude.
It's tradition.
I'm about to chug this, baby.
Since it's tradition.
Oh no!
We'll call this the last dab.
That's the last time.
Keep coming.
All right.
The hottest thing I have eaten up to this point is a habanero, which is 350 Scoville units. That's the hottest thing I've ever had in my life.
I'm gonna go for a run after this.
I'm just gonna chug it out of the carton. It's
Same.
fine. Thank you, though. Are we cheersing this, though?
Cheers, boys.
Cheers to death.
All right, my man's looking like a snack, not a question. Give a story about when your shirt was on backwards all day.
Crisscross, middle school.
Okay. What's your favorite animal?
Lion.
When was your first kiss?
Fifth grade.
You're trapped in a room with no escape. How do you get out?
Knock.
Very smart.
What video games do you like?
Assassin's Creed?
Yes.
Do you even skate, bro?
Nope.
Oh, yeah.
Worst thing you've ever done? XOXO Gossip Girl.
Oh god. I don't know.
It's not that bad.
Who's your least favorite person here? Is it me?
I don't have one.
How you doing?
That actually wasn't that bad.
Yep. Who's your favorite child and why?
Who's my favorite what?
Child.
Oh man.
Baby Jesus.
Baby Jesus.
Baby
Little
Jesus.
little Eddie Count
Little
baby
baby.
Jesus.
8
I
pounds,
can't.
6 ounce
I
baby Jesus.
honestly can't say which one's my favorite because they're all unique.
All right. We'll end it there. Shay, Gilliam, you made it through the wings of death. There's nothing to do but roll out the red carpet for you.
Thank you. We appreciate having you.
All right, you guys. Can we all thank Pastor Shay for coming tonight?